Welcome, everybody, to the VCS promotion tournament covered here by the VCS English. How have you been, Vinny? It's been too long since we've casted together. We've got
it
some
really
good games
has.
today.
Yeah, hopefully we will. We get to see two new teams come up against some old blood in the form of, well, not that old, even in the form of OPG, who has just bought the spot from VGA.
Yep.
And owned by
Optimus,
yeah. Famous player from the VCS.
Yep, former Flash player. He has bought out that spot. I'm honestly surprised VGA sold. I thought VGA was fine. But never mind. It's always good to see former VCS players sticking around the scene and doing more. But of course, we are starting off today with FTV taking on QTV. QTV relegated after one of the biggest collapses I've ever seen last split. Two splits ago, technically. Last split was obviously the one that just concluded. But last year's summer split, they looked fine after the first round robin, potentially a playoff contender, and then lost every single game. And was relegated. And then FTV, this split that's just gone by, looked just as bad. So...
yeah, FTV, however, looked pretty bad from the word go. They won, I think, a total of 2 games. I have not didn't completely check up on that.
They won 2 games.
They won 2 games. They didn't win a single series.
No, they won 2 series.
Oh, they won 2 series.
They beat VGA and someone else.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That's right.
Yeah, they won.
They were
games.
Definitely on track to not win anything at one point.
Oh, we are going straight into champion select here. They are not pulling out any stops. I love this little overlay they've got. Very pretty.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So, a few things we wanted to talk about, and we can while the bands are coming in, is you actually went and watched a bunch of the VODs. There's not too many.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to comment on that's not from VOD Review is Froggy is in. They're not playing Victory, so FTV already doing better than the regular split.
Yes, and they have also decided to start Akeno over the one ground Tiger. I believe he's back to Tiger.
Apparently he's back to Tiger, which, good on him. One ground was a horrible name.
One ground was a terrible name, but straight off the bat, in terms of bans, we can see the Oh, actually, this is different. We see on QTV side they have Chip or CHP in the top lane.
That's about what I was making that little ooh about, because CHP, or as we call him, Chip, because we're lazy.
Honestly,
is top laning for QTV. Now, he was VGA's top laner that went missing. He vanished.
Yes. However, he wasn't in the promotion qualifiers. They had Huang Tug, who I'm glad isn't in because I don't want to say that name multiple times.
Yeah, fair cop.
But he's in, and that's interesting. We will see how he fares. He was a decent tank player on
he was a very good tank
on VGA, and we'll see. And he should be an improvement in that top lane. But as I was going to say, in the bans we see Kalista and Thresh taken away from the bot lane of QTV. 2 very, very strong picks for that bot lane, and the bot lane of QTV needs their picks if they're planning to carry.
Yeah, Jisoo, when he was in the VCS, even last year when Kalista was not a presence in the game whatsoever, was drawing Kalista bans regardless, just because he's very, very good on that champion. So now that Kalista is in the meta, it's no surprise to see those bans. But let's talk about the picks a little bit, because Elise has been picked, which is a champion that we saw about every champion select in the spring split. But we didn't see her in game very much because she was banned pretty much every game.
No, and she also saw next to no presence in the series against puppies that QTV played. Actually, no, sorry, I lied. I saw there was one showing and it was a ban.
Yeah, that's surprising because she is very high priority. But on the other side, it's a Nidalee. So these junglers are doing very different things.
Yes.
You told me that both of these junglers like to farm, but only one of them's picked a farming jungler.
Well, neither of them have, really.
Nidalee's a farming
jungler.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But Kuroko we've seen play Nidalee a bunch throughout the split. The Elise pick for Seal is quite interesting. I mostly got to see him perform on play on Trundle and Olaf. Okay. Olaf is of course banned, but Trundle has the ability to skirmish early, but is still much more pulled back, farms a lot.
Yep.
And that's definitely how it was played. It was played to check. It was played to sort of counter gank, played to prevent the ability of Fuguan from Puppies to actually impact the game on.
You're a brave man. You're a brave man for attempting.
Yes. on much more aggressive picks like the Gragas, like the J4.
But that said, I'm pretty happy to see the Elise. I think having the different mode, this team has like the Elise to get them through the early game. They have Ornn for scaling, and now they've picked up a Xayah. So far, I really like this QG team. But let's have a look at FTV as they've just rounded their comp out with a Lucian and a Syndra pick. It's a little bit disjointed to me.
It's a very good mid-game comp. I think FTV is looking to try their best to power through the early game with the Lucian Braum combo, with the early game strength of the Nidalee. But we see a Echo as the counter pick to the Syndra picked up from Genza.
Makes sense.
This should be interesting. As he was hovering the LeBlanc, which he played to pretty good effect in the qualifiers. But this Echo should be good to see.
Yeah, Echo is the traditional counter pick into Syndra, of course. So...
However, it appears to be Froggy that is going top lane for FTV.
Okay.
I
don't mind.
Visual bug?
It might be. But until we know it's a visual bug, we're gonna have to assume it's not.
Yeah.
I don't mind Froggy on melee champs. He's actually good on them. So Froggy on Renekton seems fine. Rika on Syndra.
That
spooks me a little.
That's the question. Yeah, okay. That's
is definitely the way I'd put it.
That is definitely not what I ever thought was coming in. And
it
looks like it's confirmed.
Okay. Huh. Well, that doesn't make much sense. I'm very confused. Why have they done that?
I can only assume either it is actually going to be Syndra top into Ornn.
But they'll just lane swap. Like Echo can run top lane. He doesn't care.
True, but if you hide your lane assignments, you can still get that nice. I don't even know because the Echo counter doesn't really come online until post 6. So
yeah, exactly. This is very strange. I think it just has to come down to champion pool. We've seen Rika go into the mid lane before. It was typically on the sort of mid lane top laners, like the Irelia or Camille. He did play them in the mid lane, and he's pretty good. Like he actually performed. He knows how to play in the short lane. On casters though, it's a bit strange. We know that Froggy has a champion pool. Is the way to put it. He has a very strange champion pool, so it's very possible that Syndra's just not in there. I question why pick it then. Galio was open.
Seen it.
I don't think we've seen Froggy Syndra. Honestly, I can't think of it. It gets banned a lot in Spring Split, so
fair.
Maybe we haven't seen it. I didn't go back and check the games, but Galio was open. which is a very strong pick for Froggy. It's very confusing. But that said, if Rika is good on the Syndra, then sure, whatever. Play flexible solo lanes.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to go. If you can play it, you can play it.
Yeah.
They are going to know probably a lot better than we are on who's better at Syndra than we. Than
you'd hope they know better.
You'd hope.
You'd really hope. But looking at sort of with that little quirk of the draft aside, thinking about both of these drafts, what do you like about them? What don't you like? And who do you sort of favor?
In terms of what I can see, we're going to see a much more early game focus out of FTV. As I've said, they're going to. I imagine they're going to focus around pushing through the bot lane with the Lucian Braum combo. Very strong laning combo, especially into a Xayah Nautilus. The elites may be able to interrupt that, but Elise is probably going to be forced into ganking.
She has to.
Her entire farm, her jungle is going to be constantly farmed up by the Nidalee, who has a much faster clear. So she's going to be pressured into making ganks that normally you wouldn't take because otherwise you fall too far behind if you wait too long trying to set them up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this does come down to some execution, I think, in terms of the jungle matchup. I think Nidalee has a very easy job here. Just farm. Just farm. Just get ahead of the Elise. You need to be 20 CS ahead, which isn't unreasonable as we hit the Rift.
Yes. Nidalee is a lot like Nunu used to be. Your job isn't to be a real jungler, it's to make sure it's a 4v4. That's how I like to see it. But yeah, we are going to see Froggy taking into the top lane. So
this doesn't surprise me.
No real lane swap shenanigans, but there we are.
Still very strange. That said, it is very strange that they've done this. But hey, let's not judge it until we see how it plays out. As it looks like the early game will just be the 5-point defense, with Froggy a little bit aggressive.
It wasn't a traditional 5-point defense. We saw Akino go up, rush in towards the top lane with Froggy, which has allowed a slight invade of sorts from the side of QG to get that ward on the red buff. So they will know that Kuroko is not starting there. I believe the ward in their own jungle has spotted that they are going to start the red buff. It will probably be vertical jungling from here on out.
Yeah, both junglers know what's going on here. Both junglers definitely know where each other have started. So I think this will be vertical jungling, which actually I think favors FTV pretty heavily, because keeping that Elise away from her top lane early means that you can sort of the Renekton can't be super aggressive because there could be a Nidalee lurking.
This does. I'm sorry. I think this really does favor QTV because of the fact FTV and Police are going to be pushing in just by the nature of their champions, which leaves them susceptible to the Elise gank, and the Elise gank is what is needed. However, the full blue side clear has left Elise open to a potential 3 buff. The junglers are going to meet on this bot side.
Yeah, but Elise wins this duel very hard if they clash. She's going in the mid lane. I wish the observers were looking mid lane right now because there's damage being dealt to Rika and he's had to flash. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it as the repel is used to dodge the spear. Seal, very aggressive, gets ignited. This is a lot of damage being dealt to QG, and the leap that was a flash forward by Kuroko to throw that spear. Ooh, the scatter the weak misses. And both QG members get away. 2 for 1 in flashes, and we go straight down to the bot lane where there's another fight. Police has been ignited. Akino taking a lot of damage, but QG win the trade really heavily down there.
Yeah, TQK finding a hook onto police at level 2, meaning you're not able to properly defend as the Brom. I think they might have hit level 2 first.
I would
I'm not
imagine
sure.
so. Which is weird.
Which is weird, but because the damage was going on to police, it meant they couldn't return it onto TQK with the aftershock. And that means the trade is heavily won for QTV. And that mid lane skirmish just Seal, yeah.
It was pretty bad by FTV. Let's be straight.
There was
a lot of missed skill shots. They should have gotten the kill. Seal was so over aggressive.
I mean more, but yeah, Seal, not going for what I would have expected. Not quite that early. I think slightly pushing too hard after getting that flash. There you get the flash for flash. You just leave after that. You don't need anything else. You come back later.
Yeah, it
do the same thing.
It wasn't even a flash for flash. He just got Rika's flash. He used his flash in the skirmish afterwards.
No, he went.
Did he go for the flash cocoon? I'm wrong. Okay.
He went for the flash cocoon.
Okay, fair enough. I'm
caught that in the replay.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yep. Makes sense. Yeah, but
yeah,
in that point, yeah, your point stands. Just go for the flash for flash. That's fine. Just come back mid, a minute later. The buffs are still standing. I think it's now Kuriko that's only secured 1 buff. But I think this will be a delayed 2 buff take. Doesn't look like Seal wants to aggress for the rest.
Yeah, it's not going to be a 2 buff take. It's just Kuriko returns to clear his Gromp and the top Scuttle Crab.
Yep.
After pathing away from the skirmish backs. Now he's actually going for a gank.
Yep, tried to get onto Genza, but with the parallel convergence and everything missing from Kuriko, the Echo does just roll away.
Yeah, so
a little bit of a bit of a sloppy early game from both teams so far.
And this is not going very well for FTV. What should be one of their strongest points is losing pretty heavily.
Yeah.
In the bot lane. Their mid lane and top lane are doing well enough to keep them in the lead, but the early trade really set this spot lane behind, and they might as well as the attention from the Elise.
Yeah, absolutely. One production thing.
Oh, that's fine.
In force. Here we are. As Kuriko is poking his head down towards the bot side, as Seal takes a crab with the help of Genza. Now, we were talking about how the Nidalee has a very easy job in this early game, and I think Kuriko's doing that very, very well. Ooh, as he gets caught by the cocoon, though, there is a full brawl here. Kuriko winning the trade of the junglers at the moment. Up in the air goes the Elise, parallel convergence being used. Genza very aggressive as he flashed to land that E. Bit of a waste of a flash there, but QG does win the damage war, and they keep bot lane priority. But they did use a lot more resources.
And again, the bot lane seems to be winning the 2v2 pretty much independently. The saving grace for FTV was that Kuriko was able to win the initial skirmish in the tri-brush with the help of the skirmisher's Saber. And the early rotation from Genza meant they couldn't commit to the out of position Seal. So in the end, nothing happens, but it's just QG's bot lane actually doing what is needed to keep QG in this game, because the top half of the map is going towards...
Ooh, the order horn being blown. They want to get onto Kuriko, but they go onto Aquino instead. Are we finally going to get a first blood? It's 8 minutes in VCSB, and we haven't got one. Chip goes very, very low. Genza uses the rewind. He's going forward onto Aquino, and he does get the first blood and the speed boost, but he goes down to Froggy regardless. 1 for 1 in the mid lane and the topside river. And it's a 500 gold lead for FTV.
And Genza able to find the first blood, but
Yes, they
no,
did.
Froggy's going to be fine. He's clearing the ward.
Okay.
And we have seen not, and this is our first blood. Finally, 8 minutes in.
Yep, did not
It's
expect
a
as
slow game today.
contained in early games. Let's have a look at this replay here. It all started with the Ornhorn, which missed.
Yes. The Ornhorn miss, it forces the flash out of...
Oh, that was a
Kuroko,
huge mistake by FTV. They both dashed forward straight into the parallel convergence.
Yep.
That's a huge mistake.
Yeah, the big parallel convergence. Genza able to salvage the play, but has to overcommit too hard to get the finish and kill, and thus trades 1-for-1. This does put Froggy even further ahead of Chip, which is not where you want to be, but it should help the mid lane catch up in gold, if not experience.
Yeah, I think the one saving grace in terms of that top lane matchup is that it's Ornn, right? And they're also not... They weren't directly laning into each other for a moment. I don't know if they're switching back now. It looks like they are, so ignore that point. But it's still Ornn. He's a little bit behind. It's Ornn. Whatever. Yeah. He's not going to die.
Yeah, it is Ornn. He's going to be He's going to always be useful, unless the Braum has anything to say about that. But
yeah,
it should be fine for in the top lane, I guess. But there is the gold lead is slowly growing for FTV, and it's mostly due to the farm.
Yeah.
Considering we've only now gotten our first objective.
Oh, the bot lane. TQK did throw out a hook at potentially a bad time as Kuroko had just cleared the dragon. A little bit silly there, and the culling has forced a flash. The Rift Herald summoned up. This is a very, very big swing in the favour of FTV. Jisoo on the run has to use a blast cone to get away from a hungry Rika. He just came in out of nowhere, but the jungler has arrived and the Xayah is safe. But this is a massive, massive amount of gold here for FTV.
And how did Kuroko die? Did Kuroko just get executed by the turret?
Yes, I think.
Anyway.
I think I missed that.
I understand what TQK was going for. They saw police alone, but as he throws out the hook, they hear the dragon go down and go, "Oh dear. We've messed up."
and that's when
Kuroko and Akeno come along and turn it around, get a kill, almost get two, with Rika appearing out of nowhere. But
it was good awareness by Rika to be there.
It's a 1-for-1.
Well, I think it was an execute, so it's not a 1-for-1. Yeah, it's an execute.
Yeah,
he's tanking the tower.
Execute.
Yeah, it's an execute.
Kuroko,
silly cat. Yeah, so it's not a real 1-for-1.
So so the tempo isn't as big. They aren't able to push down pretty much the tower, I suppose, because having Kuroko up to do the extra damage, provide the extra attack speed, probably would have finished off the tower. But so
a bit of a blunder.
Unfortunate, but not too bad. You don't lose anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's not great, but I think this bot lane, it is a Lucian Braum. I think they will get an opportunity to hit that tower before 14 minutes. They would really like to break it and get that last tower plate, of course.
Yeah.
So it's a blunder. It cost them a little bit, but it didn't give anything to QG, as you said. There's 4 people around this bot side. They want to finish the tower.
Yeah, and as we can see, as you alluded to before, being slightly behind has not bothered the Ornn at all. He has reached his full Sunfire Cape.
This could be a bit of a fight as TQK, this man has absolutely no fear. He's just gone in. Jisoo pops a Featherstorm and gets the stun. Rika will be going down. Froggy charging forward. Aquino very, very low. Genza coming in. He has the Chrono Break as Froggy's picked up the kill onto the Xayah, but they're going to turn around onto the Renekton. That's a kill. Chip flashing forward. Does he have the Ornhorn? No, he's already used it. He has gone down. Parallel Convergence will come out. Aquino goes gold, but does go down, and it's a 4-for-2 in the bowling. 4-for-3, actually, as TQK went down at the start. An absolute bloodbath.
Genza and Chip come up huge. Chip is able to essentially zone off 3 players on the side of FTV by himself, and Genza comes in on the back end and just cleans up all the kills for QG, and that actually doesn't even swing the gold.
No.
Because there were enough, because FTV was able to salvage enough to make it so that it turns out a 4-for-3.
He's so far ahead of his team. He's a madman.
He
nearly got away. He nearly got away. It was actually a pretty good play.
But Froggy ends up saving it, getting 2 kills. And just Chip able to hold them off long enough for Genza to come around and clean up.
It was
Seal that takes that kill, but
it was a very messy play.
It was messy. But that's VCS. That's VCS B.
Yeah, it's not just VCS. This is VCS B. So messy is what we're here for.
And it looks like they've given up trying to get Police to take that turret, so they've sent Froggy to try.
Yeah, I think they're just moving to side lane assignments, and they're going to play play around a Rift Herald, which, for the record, hasn't been touched in 15 minutes. We didn't get any 8-minute swaps here today.
That's not true. We
did. I'm just completely lying.
That's what he executed.
Yeah, no, I'm just completely lying. He did get Rift Herald.
But
I'm just a bad caster.
But they're going to trade the Rift Herald for the Ocean Drake.
Yeah.
They don't really.
Oh, hang on. You've got to play Yulwei's role. What dragon are we getting? What Rift?
We'll go Infernal.
Okay, I think you got that in before we found out. And what is it going to be? It's Infernal. You can't be Yulwei. You got it right.
Right.
Oh, Yulwei.
He's obviously predicting correct dragons in his dreams.
Yeah. As the first tower does fall up in the top lane, Police gets a first tower, not the one they thought he'd get, but he got it all the same. Ornhorn being used to clear the wave, as there are a lot of members of FTV up on that top side.
And what was that shield? That wasn't blocking anything.
Yeah, Aquino has not been very good at blocking the Rams. Ooh, Chip, though, might need to be blocking something, and I don't think he can, as Kuriko will pick that kill up, and the inner tower will be going down, traded for the bot lane outer, and this is very bad for QG.
FTV just sort of showing their experience as a VCS team, as weird as that sounds, having superior macro.
Oh, they've got plenty of experience.
As a superior... what is weird sounding is the superior macro.
Yeah, okay, that's
knowing what Froggy can hold off, knowing to pull himself back and commit the Rift Tower to the top side, play through that vision. Froggy is playing weak side on this Renekton very well.
Yep, he absolutely is.
He's absorbing a ton of pressure. He's not giving up too much. He did give up. He did end up giving up. He did end up giving up the tower, but it doesn't matter too much because essentially it was a 2-for-1 tower trade plus the kill onto Chip.
Yeah, FTV made out like absolute robber barons there, and we do see that reflected in the 3.5k gold lead they've amassed. And we did say they have a fantastic mid-game team.
Rika's feeling confident.
Yeah, Rika's feeling very confident.
Got a nice little Dark Seal going on.
Yeah, I'm loving it. He's picked up that Dark Seal. We'll have to see if he completes the Medjais. I somehow don't think we're going to see Rika on there. as
If he
Genza.
picks up a couple of kills, maybe. But
Maybe.
yeah, it's probably unlikely.
It would be a first, as there is a contest for this red buff. Jisoo really wants this one, but Kuriko obviously has a smite. It's secured by the Xayah regardless. Kuriko, a little bit of a flub.
And we're seeing a supportive build come out from the Nidalee.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
Unholy
me.
Grail.
That makes sense to me.
I like my Nidalees assassinating, but
I mean, they're more fun.
It's not likely.
Yeah, they're more fun when they assassinate.
Why assassinate when you can just be a heal bot? Tis the way of the professional leagues.
Unfortunately.
Essentially. We do get to see...
And TQK, once again, going so aggressive, takes all the damage in the world and has to be healed by his ADC. Someone needs to slap a leash on this man. He never stops.
And this is why we see things like his Thresh and his Blitzcrank bed, because when he throws out a hook, he doesn't have to automatically commit to them.
Oh, a lot of damage being dealt to Seal. It was a good scout of the week. Genza in some trouble. Has to hit that chrono break. Very defensively. Everyone manages to get out.
And yeah, so a lot of spells used and a lot of nothing obtained, except a bit of more pressure onto these turrets. The siege from FTV isn't amazing. They have decent poke from the Syndra and the Nidalee, but they don't have the range to actually hit the tower with a Lucian as their AD carry. So this is where they fall apart, especially in front of the wave clear of Xayah and Echo. So in the end, it's just wasted time waiting for the meaning trying to stop QG from being able to set up their vision while they wait for the dragon timers to count down.
Yeah, now, I think dragons will be what FTV play. They want to force fights.
Because now QG is going to come in, lay down their vision while FTV's backed, but the timing is such that FTV will arrive and clear out all the vision just before the dragon spawns. And we're seeing Police and Froggy have both hit their second items, so they are ready to go. However, Genza's finished his Lichbane, so he could quite easily just delete Police from the fight if he finds the opportunity.
Possibly. I don't think QG should be fighting for this Drake. Give this one up. You're behind on item times, and it looks like they are going to do exactly that. It's just a second Drake. It's not that big a deal. Wait for your ord items that actually make you scale. Your Xayah in the late game is going to do a lot more than the Lucian. So you're definitely not out of the game yet. But at the moment, FTV is quite far ahead.
And I would have liked to see Genza play a little more aggressively up in that top lane. He has a Lichbane. Lichbane is excellent for taking down towers.
Yep.
He almost certainly could have gotten that tower and gotten away scot-free with just Rika coming up to take it. Obviously, we have Fog of War turned off, so we know it was just Rika. But I'm pretty sure he would have been able to see. He would have been able to guess someone's on the dragon, Froggy's in the bot lane, Police and Aquino. I'm pretty sure we're visible in mid. Probably were, judging by that ward off to the side of the wall. So he should have known.
Once again, TQK going in. Use the ult on Rika to keep him zoned out. Genza all the way back to the top lane. I don't think that's what he meant to do. He had to press R, but he'd only just teleported in. And he yeets himself back to the top lane, and FTV gets a bit more tower damage. Froggy, though, so far forward, but doesn't get CC'd up. I love
and you
watching
can see
do that.
They tried. They wanted to use Genza's power to blow up Rika, but Rika just turns around, presses R, and Genza has to nope right out of the situation. And he noped out further than he planned on it.
To be perfectly honest, he should have stayed top and got the tower. Because they're going to lose this mid lane tower. He should have just stayed top.
Coming back down mid after re-teleporting back to top lane, he absolutely should have I assume he thought I can only assume he thought the skirmish was going to continue in some sense.
Yeah.
Which is why he came back down. And FTV might have tried to re-engage had he stayed with the aggressive flank Froggy was pulling off. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity to get that tower, get a bit of gold back. Because as it is, FTV's 4K ahead, almost 5K. And honestly, they probably need to be a little bit more, but
I don't think the scaling
they're playing the map well enough that it's not really impacting. That the scaling isn't really impacting.
Yeah, and I don't think the scaling for QG is unsurmountable. They are the better late game team for sure. They have an Ornn, they have a Xayah. But Echo's not that much of a monster in the late game compared to Syndra. I think Rika could definitely put the carry pants on in the late game and get quite a lot done. At
that point, you have in the late game, you just have TQK, Genza, and Seal all trying to remove the Syndra, and then you're left with a Lucian who can't match up to the range of the Xayah and gets face checked and just gets slapped around by the Ornn as he's trying his best to do the damage to get in range of the carries who are just hitting him from his range plus times half again.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes team fighting harder in the sense if it basically ends up coming down to who spots who first. If Rika is able to blow up Jisoo, it's pretty much one for FTV. But likewise, if Rika gets blown up by Genza, it should be one for QG.
Yeah, and of course, the one of the big things about that dynamic is it's very hard for Rika, even if he catches Jisoo unawares, you can just press R. You're playing Xayah. When Syndra presses R, you press R. And just trade.
Yeah,
and then you never die.
It does come down to the dive squads, and in which case you would say probably the Froggy Rika Kuroko dive squad is probably a bit stronger than the Seal Genza TQK dive squad. Rika's not necessarily diving, but is providing the damage required. So it just comes down to, who can blow up who first, which I suppose all team fights come down to.
Yeah, I guess it's very much an arms race. Unlike some team fights where a 4v5 happens, but the 4 team can still fight because of resources expended. This one is as soon as you're the 4, you probably need to be running. Because if you lose either Jisoo or Rika, depending on what team you are, you kind of lose the fight.
Yeah, your fighting becomes a lot harder. Your damage becomes a lot harder to deal out. Froggy,
this is just a given up Drake here by FTV. That's surprising. Yep. They could have fought for this.
Just slow to the punch.
Kuroko was just getting his krugs.
Caught Kuroko napping. Is basically what happened. QG able to recognize this and jump on it.
They inside track though, so they should get this mid lane inner. That's actually a good trade. The Infernal Drake didn't matter very much.
Mid lane for an inner is, it's a good trade. You do unfortunately have the soul delay though, which if FTV was already on soul point, 100% every time I would take the inner for that one dragon. However, not being on soul point, you really want that soul point because it just adds that extra layer of pressure to QG. They have to always worry about the dragon. They can't let you anywhere near it.
That's
especially
true.
With Infernal.
Yeah, that's true. Now we've got, 35 minutes is the earliest the Dragon Soul can be taken. So that's already too late for FTV. They want to be ending the game before that.
Yeah, if FTV...
Ooh, the flash cocoon does miss. Police will want to turn it around, though. Pops the culling. There is a parallel convergence to slow him down. Froggy will get depth charge. Seal goes gold. But this is going to be a fight that FTV really, really wants. And why not? Seal goes down. Chip in the middle of 3. TQK will be going to the grave. Police gets healed up by the Nidalee. There's a big Echo ult, but it's not big enough. And Genza's going to go down. This is so far a 3-for-0. And Chip flashes away. That's Baron.
Yeah, that's an easy Baron. QG is not able to find the targets. They're not able to burst down.
They didn't find anything.
They didn't find anything. They were busy disengaging until they realized they used all their engage on trying to disengage. The death charge came out onto Froggy, and then they realized they couldn't get away anyway, so then they had to try and turn with none of their tools. I mean, they couldn't pop up police with the Nautilus ult. They couldn't catch him at all. And Froggy's able to run around freely and just delete Seal. And Genza and TQK aren't able to kill police at all.
Yeah.
Chip comes down eventually.
Yeah, that was a very slow teleport from Chip as well. At that point, just don't come.
Yeah, and his impact is just gone. He can't use his ult gets blocked. He can't find a knock up, and
this is ugly for QG.
Nothing goes right in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did see the impact of this supportive Nidalee. That heal onto police was massive. Genza hit his spells. He did everything he could. Even hit the big 3-man chrono break. But it doesn't matter when there's like a 500 health point heal onto the Lucian. You don't kill through that.
Kuriko's realized their weaknesses, and he's decided to help out the siege by buying a Lich Bane, which is a nice adaptation. I really like this. Because we saw in the mid lane earlier, they were able to hold QG under their turret, but they weren't able to do any damage to it. So now Kuriko's able to just, even if they only land one auto attack, it's going to be a lot of damage. It's going to be a good chunk out of the turret. So, but I mean, as I say, that Kuriko's off standing in the middle of nowhere, just chucking spears.
Yeah, to be fair, they are just trying to get this tower through the Baron minions. There's no need to step close enough to actually auto. Seal, very aggressive. Get some damage onto Kuriko, but not enough to stick. As that tower has now gone down. Ornhorn been blown. Does get blocked on the second charge by Akino. TQK has to flash. Froggy in the middle of the enemy team, and this could be the game ending in mere moments. I think it might be. As, double kill now for police. Can he make it a triple? He can! This man on Lucian is absolutely terrifying. We've been saying it for at least a year. And that's going to be game 1 for FTV.
Game 1.
They strike the first blow to get back into the VCS and maintain their plot armor. They are the anime protagonist and can never be eliminated.
And the crocodile just becomes unkillable in the face of QG. They can't do anything to Froggy. And it's crazy. And there were times where I thought QG might be able to get it. I thought they might, but no, FTV was able to find more gold on the map, different opportunities, and take that victory reasonably convincingly.
Yeah, QG really didn't look strong at any point. They were behind pretty much the entire game, and then they just lost. They tried. They didn't roll over, to be fair. They did try and fight where they could. They took what they could, but in the end, FTV just had full control.
Yeah, it was
pretty dumb.
It wasn't a very great showing from QG, I'm afraid.
But of course, it's a best of 5, so they've got plenty of time to come back.
Of course, we could see them get better comfort in the draft, but I don't really see how much more comfort you can get. Genza, I don't really know his champion pool too well, but maybe something a bit more traditional. Maybe we see him on what he played in the promo, which was things like Azir, like Cassio, these backline mages that do consistent DPS. We see a less early focused jungler. Maybe I think we will probably QG might need to revert to what I like to think of as that episode of The Simpsons where Homer became a boxer. You just get punched in the head until the opponent can't punch you anymore. And you hit them and they fall over.
In this analogy, who's Mo wearing a fan? That's something
QTV, obviously.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
QTV,
so that's something we can ponder. That's something we can ponder in the break, as we will go to a little bit of a break, but we'll be back with game 2 of QG taking on FTV. Let's see if QG can fire back, or will it be FTV running them over? We'll see you guys very soon. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, for game 2 of QG taking on FTV. My name is Everyday. With me is Mr. Vinnie LMS, or just Vinnie.
Yep.
So,
just Vinnie.
Game 1 is in the books, a dominant performance by FTV for the duration. How would you like to see QG bounce it back?
I would like to see QG go to what they know. If they can try in the draft to get some of their comfort picks, some of their really strong picks, like if they're lucky, they might get a Callista. It's not likely, but if they're lucky,
I think that is the most obvious ban.
That is probably the most obvious ban.
If they get Callista, it's a massive
Oh, they
screw.
might get the Thresh.
Yeah, maybe.
They might.
That said, I don't think... Why would FTV change a ban?
FTV doesn't need... I mean, yeah, that is true. FTV doesn't need to change the ban. But, I mean, we could see something like I don't know, the Blitzcrank. The Blitzcrank was banned against them in the promotion, in the qualifiers.
I mean,
so
TQK was hitting a lot of hooks. And if people were coming to him instead of him going to them, it probably would have worked out a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. It probably would have. But we see a Varus ban. Oh, no, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong... Right? No, I am looking at the right side. Why do we see a Varus ban?
They banned it in game 1 as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, I must have missed that one.
They banned Callista and Varus, which was curious. I just assumed Jisoo had shown... Varus is a strong pick, after all.
Jisoo's Varus
is removed.
Looked pretty good. But Jace, again, is being removed in the bans.
Set
and
gets
we're going
through.
To see the set. Oh. The set ban.
How happy are both of us as the set gets through? Picked up here for Chip.
And we see
Aphelios. That is a strong rotation for QTV.
Yeah. But now we could see maybe TQK willing to pick up the Braum and shut the Ornn down. But again, we could also see the Blitzcrank, which would do a lot to deny the obvious Tahm-Kench pairing that you see with the Aphelios. Because he obviously can't be paired with...
Yeah. This is a Vinnie draft already. Set and Ashe picked up.
I have been asking people to play Ashe all season. She's solid. She's not Aphelios, she's not MF, sure, but she's a solid A tier pick.
Oh.
And pretty much every time I've seen her play, she's performed well. We've seen Mystic in the LCK. We saw it. Bang did play it to a loss in LCS, but it looked good. I thought
LCS doesn't count. Let's only talk about major regions.
I mean, we're a minor region.
I know. I'm just teasing us. I just wanted to say that,
But yeah, Kuroko obviously doesn't want to change anything up. But we're seeing QTV. We're seeing Seal. He's going to his Trundle. Helps a lot against the Ornn. You get so many stats for free when you press Alt on the Ornn with his double tank items that have been upgraded.
Yeah, that is pretty gross. That is a very tanky
nice
troll.
Pick. It lets him fight early. It lets him almost match Nidalee in terms of clear speed, and it's a very good pick. Very good, and it looks really good in Seal's hands. He's able to basically track the other jungler, keep up with them, steal what he can. We're seeing Alistar?
Alistar Aphelios. Now that's a bot lane I wouldn't have predicted.
Well, okay, there is a good side to this. If you have the Graviton as Aphelios, they are not getting away from Alistar.
True.
They can't run away from the W, so you easily land your combo. They can't get away from your E as it stacks up for the punch. So if someone gets CC'd, they are probably CC'd forever unless this invulnerability comes down.
Which makes a lot of sense. I like this Taric pick quite a lot. I think it does a lot against how FTV wants to fight, but they go for Leona instead. The other Targonian, and TQK will be going forward even faster if he hits those Zenith blades.
And I mean, it's almost the same bot lane as what I just described.
Ooh.
In the sense that would be a lot of AD damage.
Yeah.
I do not like this pick.
A lot of AD into an Orn, and they pick
full
it.
AD damage. Okay.
I mean, Orn will be tanky and build a shitload of armor, but he is going to get trundled.
That is true. That is why I would have almost preferred a Galio instead of this Cassiopeia.
That would have been really interesting.
Another reasonably tanky, or even just another tank. Just play Maokai.
Another lane swap, by the way.
So Rika's just
a mid laner now.
I guess he's found his true calling. But
can't be worse. He's actually a decent top
laner. He's an alright top laner on his picks.
This is surprising, though. To put Froggy on the Orn, he probably has experience with it. Orn was a mid laner for a while, or at least viable in the mid lane.
And it's not like Froggy plays traditional mid laners all that much anyway. Another reason I actually really like the Alistar pick is you can, if the Ash Shower is coming at you, at your team, you can just eat it. And I mean, the same goes for Orn. You can just walk in front of it, press W, you don't get stunned at all.
Yeah.
So
you don't even realistically, even if you don't have access to the W, you can just take it. If you're Alistar or Orn, you're not going to die on the back.
Yeah, I mean, so it does do a lot to shut down the Ash's pick potential, but then again, you have a Leona, you have a Trundle, your pick potential isn't exactly dependent on that ultimate.
No.
And so, again, the damage profile is just sitting there bugging me.
Yeah, the Lucian last pick was a screwball I did not expect to be thrown. Genza has played this kind of pick, but in the comp, it's a bit questionable.
I definitely would have liked to see an Azir or the Cassiopeia from Genza. Just something else, it's plays the same role as another DPS threat rather than a burst threat. But it's it's AP. It forces you to split your gold amongst different stats instead of just I've got all the armor in the world. Come at me.
Yeah, I completely at this point, agree. It's so easy for Orn.
Yeah, like Orn's gonna grab his Iceborne. He's gonna grab his Sunfire. He's gonna be nigh unkillable unless a early Last Whisper comes through. It feels like.
Yeah. And the other problem is that that's great for Trundle. He'll have an insane amount of armor, but he doesn't get MR from that. If Orn only builds armor, he only steals armor, which means he dies to Cassiopeia.
Yep. Correct.
I think this Cassiopeia pick was really good for FTV, I should say. I think she was the perfect mid lane pick. Does everything they need it to do.
I wouldn't have minded pretty much anything. As you said, the consistent DPS does help a lot when the Trundle's stealing a lot of armor. But even just like a LeBlanc or if it was a LeBlanc, if it was a burst mage, if it was a Syndra, it wouldn't really matter. The Aphelios will cut through you eventually. So
he has a big axe and some very strong arms.
His DPS is just about the equivalent of the year of our Lord. So
I mean, we used an analogy for what we wanted to think QTV would do. So do you think this team comp has the protective layer
to get punched in
wrapped
the
around
face.
their skull to be punched in the head by boxers for 7 rounds.
Good question, honestly.
Also, sorry about that sneeze. I couldn't mute it.
Don't know. I don't know. We've got a very tanky Ornn, and that is a very strong protective layer. And
that's on FTV,
if Trundle's not,
it's on the wrong team.
I am looking at the wrong team. You have a Trundle who can steal a lot of stats from an Ornn and be a very protected and be a very good layer. However, that only comes about every minute or so.
Personally, I think if we want to use Simpsons analogies, it's when when Homer tries to jump Springfield Gorge. It's gonna look really good for like the first half, and then they're gonna get tanky, and they're gonna go and just hit the bottom very, very hard.
Yeah, that's
it's a bit questionable. It's just the Lucian pick. I think if you ignore the Lucian pick and pretend that that's an Azir, this is a great comp for QJ.
Yeah,
but you can't do that.
And I mean, it does come down a lot to what TQK does, because you can play a very good peel Leona if you just don't skill up your E, I guess.
I'm not 100% sure about that one. Leona is good into Aphelios.
Oh yeah, no, Leona's fine. But like you can play her as a good peel champ if you need to. You're not going to bounce as well as you would on an Alistar, and the Alistar pick, actually Alistar into Leona is actually a really good matchup, because if Leona goes in, she goes out.
Yep.
She's gone again. It's like, no, you don't get to fight until I decide we get to fight.
Well, and I think that's what FTV will do. FTV, I don't think will initiate many fights. I think they're just going to let QG come to them.
I mean, they don't. Yeah, they can easily just not do anything, as Chip just decides he doesn't want melee minions.
Yeah, that was a bit of that was interesting. Very much well, you can't farm, but neither can I.
Except Froggy throws out his pillar and farms.
To be fair, he didn't get the caster minions, so it's
yeah, okay, it's fair.
Even
builds up a small slow push, but yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway,
tell us about this Ashe.
Tell us about Ashe. Okay, Ashe is wonderful. I love her so much. She has very good poke in lane with her W. Her all-in potential is actually really strong with her Q. She just provides extra vision. I mean, I'm just listing what the things she does, but
yeah, I mean,
she does a little bit of everything, and a little bit of everything is sometimes what you need. You don't need to go all in. She does a little bit of everything, but she does it in a lot fairer manner than Aphelios.
Yeah, as Seal has actually gone in and caught Kuriko with the pillar. Has to use Smite. Ooh, Seal needs to be careful as Rika's moving over, but very heavily wins that trade. And with Chip moving over, this is a very easy red buff steal and a 3 buff secured for Seal's Trundle. Good stuff.
Yeah, and Seal on the Trundle is a great early skirmishing pick, especially with this press the attack.
Kuriko
Genza
in trouble as Genza flash ignited him. TQK has been found in the bot side as Jisoo trying to zone away with the volley, but is taking some shots from the sniper rifle. A fairly even trade in the bot side, but Kuriko has to recall. Went down to about 100 HP there. That was close.
And Genza's Genza's are gonna be, and if this was solo queue, Genza would be just going in every second now because he's tilted. He didn't get that kill.
But here we go. The Zenith Blade has landed, but there's the bounce being used. TQK has to flash away. And as you said, Leona go in, Leona go out.
Yeah. And I do have to question this Leona pick. I mean, I was calling for Blitzcrank, and I mean, Alistar does almost a similar thing for Blitzcrank. It's like, sorry, Alistair counters Blitzcrank also in the fact you pull Alistair in, he just boots your AD carry over to yours.
Yeah.
But
is the stream frozen for you? Oh, there we go.
Yes,
we're back.
It just unfroze. We're good.
Cool. Just hoping it wasn't me, as we were just in a bit of a hold. The actors were just waiting.
But another thing about Ashe is, especially if you do pair with another AD carry of sorts or consistent DPS, is her damage is never like as tremendous as other AD carries, but it starts strong and it just continues to be very efficient because you crit every attack just for less. So and with the extra slows, you get you can't run away from her. So she's really strong in the early game. And if she's able to get a good lead, she just almost cannot lose it.
Yeah.
Without messing up.
Not to mention, she probably has one of the most impactful ults as an AD carry.
Oh yeah, her ult is really strong
so
tool.
Insanely powerful. That arrow. In fact, I'd go as far to say as it's the best initiating ult an AD carry has. But Seal wants to initiate onto Rika, a good petrifying gaze, but Genza has a lot to say here, firing as many shots as he can. And I think Rika might be going down. Genza untilting, returning to the upright position, as he does manage to get the first blood onto the Cassiopeia. A good start here for QG.
But now TQK is upset because he spent all that time up there and he didn't get an assist.
I think he can deal with it. He's a support player. They're used to it.
He made sure that there was really no path of escape for Rika. Rika recognized and held the flash.
Yeah.
So good job from Rika. He did about as well as you could expect in that 3v1. But in the end, he goes down for first blood. And that's a dragon for. Yeah, we see you get caught out by the pillar, and turns it around. That miasma does delay TQK. Without that, probably just walks in and lands the Zenith Blade.
He was level 3 when he came in. As we go back to live, and I think Chip's in a fair bit of trouble as the spears landed, the cat pounces, and Set will be sent to the death realm as the cat beats the wolf.
Yeah, and I can imagine that's just Chip being too far up, gets caught on some CC, and run down.
He is going Bork though.
He is going Bork, and
I like it.
I also really like this into the tanks because if you go Bork, going Triforce afterwards is kind of a waste. Yeah. So going Bork lets you means building the Black Cleaver doesn't suck.
Yeah,
and also,
essentially, as Seal with a bit of a fail flash there, but I don't think Kuriko's getting out. And Genza feeling very happy as he gets a second kill on this Lucian.
And Genza's decided to justify this pick.
Yeah.
He's saying, all right, please, you won with it. This is how you actually play it. Since you kind of
and there's the enchanted crystal arrow. As the slow's coming in, Rika did land a smart miasma and a good petrifying gaze. He flashes over the wall, but so does Jisoo, and the Ashe will claim the snake. And it's very good here for QG as they are getting absolutely everything.
And you can see just how great that hawk shot is. Tries to duck into the bush for vision. Doesn't even have to use a ward. Just boop. Yep. There you go. You can't hide from me. And I'm so glad. I'm so happy to be seeing this champion. I
mean, I agree with you. She definitely has been suspiciously absent.
Criminally underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the best ADCs. One of the best supports in the game. Fight me.
I don't know about the second half. As FTV does have a strong push in the bot lane, but the Rift Herald is used top to get a couple tower plates. Things still going in the favour of QG. There's no big Rift Herald trade, what we refer to as Shelley's bargain, where you get the Rift Herald but lose 4 tower plates, so it's not worth it. That didn't happen this time, which is nice, as Chip doing some damage to Froggy.
Normally that sort of trade happens when a team decides to rotate their bot lane basically on spawn and just gives up the pressure. You only would really want to do that if you're really losing lane. So in this case, QG would probably be the one to initiate that. But QG isn't really losing lane. They've just sort of been out of it. Like, they roamed to mid lane. They got the kill onto Rika. They got 2 kills onto Rika.
Yeah, Rika's not having fun.
Rika is currently playing 4v1 and really is just saying, where's the Mia pings? Where are they? Why aren't you pinging? Even though they probably are pinging. And we see...
I hate what you've done to me, because you brought up The Simpsons, and now I'm just thinking of the Fat Tony bit where it's, where is the money? Where do you have the money? Where is the Mia pings? Why don't you have the Mia pings? Are you bringing the Mia pings?
So the lanes aren't actually you're not losing lane. Your lanes are even, so you don't really need to cheat the tempo, especially if you're QG. And because of that, QG Seal's in a commanding position. He can just walk up, he can just take it, and you don't have to give up any pressure into the bot lane. You don't have to give up those multiple plates. And
there is a pretty big lead in the bot.
Keep going.
This Aphelios does have a pretty solid farm lead. He's 2 waves ahead, due to the roaming of TQK and Jisoo himself roaming, but with the kill, obviously that's not so bad. In fact, the items currently favour Jisoo, as he does have that Warhammer. TQK flashing away from the Kuriko. Good escape, and it will be first tower with 5 plates taken in the top lane. Set getting a big injection of gold, getting towards that Blade of the Ruined King. You love to see it.
And they recognize Froggy leaves the lane to go bot, go towards that dragon, and they drop the Rift Tower top. And FTV picks that up, and FTV picks up the dragon, and it's going to be a Mountain Drake, which is very important in this match.
Yeah. This is... if FTV gets Mountain Soul with 3 Mountain Drakes, that's not going to be overcome.
Yeah.
We might see the tankiest Trundle in existence if that happens, but...
Yeah, so... Alistair ult makes you nigh unkillable.
Sure.
Alistair ult... Mountain Soul makes you nigh unkillable. Mountain Soul Alistair ult makes you actually unkillable unless there is a Vayne in the game, which there isn't. It's a bit rough for QG if this manages to happen. But on the other hand...
Don't think it will happen.
It's still very good. It's still a really good for QG. It's great dragon for QG. Chip's going to get tanky after he builds his 2 damage items. TQK is going to get tanky. Steel's going to get tanky and then continue to get tanky. And, you scale off, you end up sort of scaling off yourself because you have the stats, you steal stats, and those stats gain stats.
Yeah, which is insane.
Which is nuts. So there's going to be a very tanky Trundle eventually.
Yeah, for sure. So
if we get to that.
I think one very big factor in this game that's not directly related to the Dragons is who side lanes against Chip. Because he can kill Ornn.
Against Chip?
Once he has 2 items, he kills Ornn if they fight. So how do you side lane?
You still put Chip in.
You have to, right?
Absolutely
we have to put Froggy against Chip.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Chip against Chip.
You put Ornn
salty
in
lane
against Chip. Sorry. I associate Chip with Ornn. Sorry.
Which is fair enough.
Anyway, you have to put Ornn in because Ornn is able to dodge some of the CC, and that lets him run away if Chip tries to do anything.
He can dodge one of the CC.
He can dodge one of the CC, but...
Ooh, speaking of the top lane, Chip was going very aggressive, but now Kuriko has arrived, flashes the Ornn ult, which means he thinks he can fight this, goes for the suplex, but doesn't have a haymaker. He goes down, but Genza's arrived. Have they bought enough time? Oh, the slick little flash by Genza, straight over the charging ram, and he gets the kill 1 for 1. All right, Genza, all right. We questioned your pick. We shouldn't
Chip.
have.
And Chip, he would have gotten away for it too if he'd built the Kindle gem first.
That's never right, though. You always build the phage first.
Oh, it's always right. I need my CDR. I'm a sucker. I'm a slut for CDR. Just leave me alone. But yeah, he knows I can keep them here as long as I need, just long enough for Genza to get here. I know they're on the way. I take it.
Yeah, you take it.
And he almost gets it.
I feel like he could have altered a lot earlier and actually escaped. But
yeah, he almost could have altered. It almost would have been maybe worth trying to alt into Kuriko for the damage.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he should have done. He should have, as soon as he saw Kuriko, just grab him, use him as an escape path.
Yeah, but in the end, it's a 1-for-1. It's kind of a bummer because you lose the pressure. You get Froggy a little bit more time to build up his Iceborne.
It's true, but he knew that here at WrestleMania, all the Hulkamaniacs were coming to help Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. So there's no... It always is.
Always is. Oh my. As there is a big concentrate. Oh, TQK! Hello! What was that? He just blast coned into the enemy team, pops his ult, pops his stopwatch, Froggy arrives, and that was the easiest kill they're ever going to be given. Why did they commit a teleport? They might have committed a teleport because Seal decided that Raptors was safe. It definitely wasn't. Maybe it was, but
so
that was...
in the end, TQK just...
That was intense.
Finds himself... Yeah, following up with the Zenith Blade was not a strong... It was not
he didn't have a choice. I think following up with the Zenith Blade...
He could have flashed back over the Krugs.
Yeah, that's true.
He would have, it would have been a lost flash, but you don't give up the kill, maybe you can re-engage with the Ash Arrow, which
the thing I hate is that he stopwatched. That's 600 gold.
Yeah, that's...
What was he doing? TQK, I've got to say, has not impressed me. He's been very unimpressive so far.
Yeah, TQK has been having a rough one this series, but I guess maybe it's time to consider putting him onto less.
Ooh, Genzo gets tagged by everything, and Aphelios shows the Alodios things he can do as he gets the Gravitum stun into an 800 gold shutdown, and FTV suddenly has full control of the tempo. They haven't taken a gold lead back yet, but QG very much failing to keep their foot on the gas.
And we could be beginning to see the makings of a throw here as QG's just, they're not playing around their vision. They keep pushing themselves up. They're trying to, and they're trying to get vision. In the case of TQK, he's trying, I'm gonna go try and get this, see what's happening around the Dragon Pit. Gets caught out. There's not enough respect. And you pretty much never need to face check this game. Yeah. You have an Ash.
Yeah, just wait for the hawk shot.
Just use the hawk shot. Use the scrying totem.
Ash Arrow used, misses. TQK going forward. Self-ults, which means it doesn't hit. Interesting, as Seal is dead.
Yes.
I think they might be coming in for the first over. And they're getting hit for 6 at the moment.
They definitely caught Seal with his pants down in trying to activate the Rift Herald, I imagine, and then just got bounced around to death. And then the Rift Herald does nothing. So, yes, it's FTV making better map movements, just collapsing properly onto the members of QG, and QG is just sort of left wondering, what do we do?
Yeah,
And
they
it's
don't.
done-
They look like they don't. I think you're completely right. They don't know what to do, and they're making mistakes because they're trying to figure it out on the go.
And this is why I almost wanted them to do this sort of what just sit there and scale, just go all in on late game, because you don't need to know anything to do that game
It's
plan.
true.
You just need to know how to not lose lane too hard and team fight.
Do you remember?
And eventually you win those team fights, and eventually there's nothing else to take except the base.
So we're both Australian. Do you remember that old Wheat-Bix ad with Glenn McGrath where he bowled the ball and it had lightning and stuff coming out of it? Because I haven't.
Depends how old this was.
This is about 10, 12 years old. You probably would have still been in New Zealand, hey?
I probably wasn't in
But
Australia.
regardless, that's an ad that exists, and that's about the last time I saw something thrown this hard.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, FTV has almost got the gold even. This is one of the biggest throws I've ever seen. This is pretty horrific.
I saw some pretty bad throws at IEM this year. I kind of wish.
Don't be mean. That's a different esport.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair, there were no throws at Katowice, eh? Navi just killed everyone. You have to have the ball to throw it.
I mean,
let's not go into
that's all right.
Counter-Strike analysis.
I'm just saying, losing from like.
Okay, I know the match you're talking about. I know.
Anyway.
Regardless, back in this game, as the Orn Horn's been blown, just to zone Jisoo away. It doesn't really do anything, as they still will be able to clean up this wave and defend the tower.
And that's a value sweeper.
That was a huge value sweeper. Love to see it.
Absolutely. So, all right, we'll go back to lane assignments, because that always works.
Sure.
Okay. We see Chip. He's controlling the bot lane. He's being matched up against Rika.
Ooh, never mind, as we do have a team fight to break it up, as TQK once again being caught. This Leona has not looked good. The subjugate's been used. Looks like it was actually used onto Kuriko to make him easier to catch. Hasn't worked out. Aquino going down. Chip follows him to the grave. Seal very low. And this is a team fight win for FTV. Oh no.
And the tanks from FTV are just...
Why are you not ulting? Why are you not ulting a 2 upgraded tank item? Orn. Trundle. Come on, son.
I did not see who he ulted.
He ulted Kuriko.
Oh, that's just...
That's shocking.
That's just straight up inting. There is no excuse for that. There is no reason almost ever to ult the Nidalee. Like, at most, if you're ulting a Cassiopeia, maybe it's like for damage. But you don't.
But like, you should never like see. There's the subjugate. Like, that's already a committed team fight. I can understand using the Trundle ult on Kuriko if you catch him, right? Because it makes him super squishy. He goes down in half a second. But that was already a committed 5v5, and Froggy was there. Just ult him and you don't die. And
Aquino is able to buy so much space with his just tankiness and CC. He manages to find a good knock-up near the end onto both the carries of QG. And then that means the front line just falls down and they have to bail. Jisoo cannot continue to be in this fight. And now they're 2 Mountain Drakes.
I mean, the gold lead is a lie at the moment. It is, as we will call this fight though, as TQK again, come on, and there's Chip on the side. That's his 5th death of the game, I believe. QG has completely collapsed. It's a double kill off that Aphelios ult for Rika. Oh no.
And that just
And as I was going to say,
it's trying too hard.
I was about to say that the fact that FTV was slightly behind in gold was a lie. Well, now they're slightly ahead, but they have Ornn items. Realistically, they're about 3,000 gold ahead. This is...
They're a lot more than that.
The 2 Ornn items, yeah.
You have 2 Ornn items. So that's about 2,000 extra gold.
Yeah.
So So
I
right
wasn't
now
counting scaling. I wasn't counting their champions for the record.
I'm not. They have 3 Ornn items.
Okay,
so that's
they have a Molt Match. Okay, they have Molt Match. Okay, yeah. This is cool.
So essentially, they are officially what 4K, 3K ahead, and 3K from the Ornn items. Add an extra maybe 1 to 2K from the Mountain Drakes and the Infernal.
Is a bit cool.
QG is so far behind now.
It's horrific.
It is horrendous.
It's really
at this point,
TQK and Chip have not been playing well. There's the Leona roll into a very good petrifying gaze. This could be getting something back as Rika will go down. Big shutdown for Seal. Can they find more? 1 kill, even though it's a shutdown, is not enough. And Police, who's just murdered Genza. Where did that happen? Oh, up in the top lane. He was overextended. QTV.
The benefit, the bright side, because there's always a bright side, is that now Trundle can out just about anyone and be tanky.
It's true. They have 2 Mountain
Drakes. That's a lot of Mountain Drake.
Yeah. It still should be ulting on. As we do see this play. Genza with a good start here, but just didn't see that Police was coming, and Aphelios didn't struggle with that one.
Honestly,
high skill cap champion.
Police. Probably wouldn't have needed Police, but
no.
It was, if anything, a mercy that Police showed up so he didn't have to wait for Ornn to do it.
Yeah, it's true, as a tower is taken. And, bloody hell.
So, as we all know, FTV is actually the strongest team in the VCS. Unfortunately, they just only ever perform in the promotion tournaments. So, here we are again. FTV looking like an actual first-class team that belongs in the VCS.
Well, unfortunately, they looked like that last promo series as well.
Exactly.
It is only the first series. It is only the first series. They do have a few more scraps they need.
And who knows, maybe Rika becoming a mid laner
speaking of Rika, I think he might be becoming a corpse, because he tried to go through that bot lane again, got Ash arrowed, and TQK wasn't there to make a mistake.
And this is probably the best chance.
They need to take the dragon right now.
They have to take this right now, or Ornn will never die again.
Yeah. Oh, but Genza's been caught. Genza's gonna die.
Oh, no.
Oh, never mind. I don't think never mind. He can't get to the fight. They have to go. They have to fight to save their Lucian. The Ornn Horn knocks up 3. Fantastic start to the fight. Chip flashing away. Seal. How is he so squishy? Has he not altered? He has. No, it's on cooldown, and Police has gone down. This is actually... Oh, no, so not Police has gone down, sorry. Jisoo has gone down, as has the rest of QG. That was a 4v5 that FTV convincingly win, and they'll get Mountain Soul, and I think they're going to get game 2.
And Seal used the ult to pretty much confirm that pick onto Rika, but I think the correct play from QG was just sacrifice Genza. The whole team from FTV was collapsing onto him. They could have taken Dragon.
Just birth the Dragon, yeah. 100%
just
agree.
Burn through it, but they decide, no, we need to save our Lucian, and they get bit for it so badly. And now it's near impossible for them to win a team fight unless they manage to stall out Till Elder and steal that somehow. But that's
when we're talking about stealing Elder as your win condition, it's a bit rough. And they just are so horrifically far behind.
And I actually have to look at Jisoo's build and say, you've done it wrong, especially against this comp.
Too tough.
against such a strong front line, a Bork is was actually really important.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I think Borg would have been very good.
You get 5 procs of the on-hit percent health damage per auto with your Q active. You do shred through tanks.
That's a huge mistake then. I didn't realize the Ranger's focus worked like that. That's incredible. I think now that you say it, I think it does. I just haven't played Ash in a really long.
But it might be slightly reduced, but it is, you get so much damage off of that Q damage that it is basically a mandatory item.
Yeah.
And you basically end up building like Lucian. You go Bork into Essence Reaver, but it doesn't
make a huge amount of sense to me. For Ash to build crit, why didn't you just play Xayah?
Okay, so building crit, it does actually do a lot. I mean,
but against this
get
team,
more damage. I mean, you do get the extra crit damage. Your crits do increase in damage, but you also get the increased slows. So it is just really good utility to build crit. But against this team, you absolutely need that Bork.
Yeah.
against Alistar,
so aggressive.
Against an Ornn. And there is next to nothing. And the damage is just not enough with a pure crit build.
No, I don't think so.
See, look.
And there's the catch. Rika takes a little bit of damage, but gets healed up by the Nidalee. Seal is a big boy. I think altered the right person this time, but that subjugate is now worn off. And Chip gets a big shield, but it's not big enough. And this will be the end of the game. FTV with 2 victories now. This one, you could feel that maybe QG had a chance, but they just threw it at light speed.
They started off with, okay, Kuriko. Kuriko wants another. Couldn't even get any damage down. That was an execute. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was ruthless. So essentially it started off well. They had a really strong start. They killed, they got a decent gold advantage, but in the mid game, their vision just wasn't there. They didn't play around their vision. They have so much free vision. You shouldn't ever not be playing around vision if you have an Ashe.
Yeah.
So it's showing the weaknesses of the team. They're showing that they're not experienced. They're not cohesive as a unit. And FTV, may not be a very powerful unit, but they are cohesive.
Yeah. Yeah, it was... that looked like a solo queue team against an actual team. The solo queue team had the mechanics to get ahead early, but it didn't matter as they just got rocked. But we'll have to see if Game 3 will herald some better news for QG fans, or if FTV, the gatekeepers of the VCS, will keep that gate locked. We'll see you in just a bit, guys. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, for Game 3 of QG taking on FTV. FTV has shown why they're known as the gatekeepers of the VCS with 2 very convincing wins here. Is QG going to bring this one back? Do you have faith in the reverse sweep, or are we going to a 3-0? Which one's more likely?
More likely the 3-0. I don't think QG can't win a game. I think if they just play a late game style, if they play like they did against Puppies. I know Puppies is not as good a team as FTV, but play more to what you know. A lot of these are new picks. Maybe it's Chip's influence saying, no, we need to aggress. No, we need to do more, but it's not working.
But you don't.
It's not working, clearly. So just pull it back, refocus. This isn't the end. You can, as long as you can beat whoever loses the next match tomorrow, you still have another chance. This isn't the be all and end all, but this is just pull yourselves in.
Yeah.
Keep it.
The problem.
Keep it tight. Wait. scale for late. Don't get caught.
Play around vision. I mean, play around your vision is the biggest thing. And we didn't say... You said it in the previous game, and you were completely correct. They need to play around their vision. They didn't do it. They kept face-checking. They made the right plays at the completely wrong times, and they kept getting punished for it.
Yeah.
FTV doesn't change their bans. Why would they? They don't need to.
They're banning away the biggest threat. Oh, I didn't notice that. There's a new bot laner. Hype is in. There is a new support in.
Can't be worse.
TQK is out.
Can't be worse.
I mean, TQK's not looked good, but we will see what Oh, this is the change up.
This is very much a change up. That was banned last game.
Jace is now in. Jace was banned both of the last 2 games. This is now in. That's probably Rika's,
That's probably Rika's. I think Rika might actually return to the top lane. As Chip wants round 2 on the set. No, I'd rather he didn't, as he looked pretty horrible in the last one, as he picks up the Aatrox instead.
And I assume they're grabbing the Aatrox this early because they think the Jace is going top, and this is the matchup they want. I think it's not a terribly good one.
I don't think Jace has too many bad matchups, though.
True. But Jisoo is going to be playing the Aphelios this time. They will have Captain 2020. Whereas Police is going to look towards the MF.
Yep, the standard trade.
Very standard pick. Very obvious. Yeah, that's not much more to say about that. You've seen this matchup all year, I imagine. If you don't know it, MF basically wins to begin with, and then in the mid game they're about the same, but late game Aphelios just does absurd things.
Aphelios isn't fair. Once he has 2 items,
this is 10.9, so he has been nerfed. Which is why he's sort of been pulled back in priority by a lot of these teams, but he hasn't been nerfed enough. No. I guess is the nicest way to put it.
I've suggested this balance change a few times. The biggest balance change is removing Aphelios from the game. That'd be a good one. Or an actual balance change, make his utility guns deal less damage. That's actually the change that should happen. That is
100% what should happen. Now we're actually seeing some sort of a much more diversification from
Kuriko will have to play something else, which is nice.
Kuriko has to play a different champion. And with this lock-in from the Gragas, they see the Jace, they know they want to get rid of AP junglers. So I imagine we'll see Elise ban.
Yeah, I think Elise is the ban that makes the most sense.
Then again, you know what? We'll never hit the ban. Just Nidalee. Okay, apparently Yuumi. I was going to say
Yuumi is not a particularly played bot lane. That's a strange ban to me.
And I also
Nautilus
have imagined the Nautilus would be
on
bot.
What are they reading? They're reading this as Froggy Nautilus, which I think is a misread. It still could happen, but I don't think you should be reading it like that. I think the Elise would have been the ban. Oh. Okay.
Would that be a Gragas? I guess that's
Gragas support.
Support or Gragas top?
No, Gragas mid, you'd think, right?
Aatrox mid, Gragas top. I think
that's
it's probably
weird.
Gragas support.
It should be Gragas support.
We see a mid lane Yasuo. I think that's what we see.
It's solo later.
We see the Echo.
Yeah, Echo.
More Froggy. No, for Kuriko. Okay. And then
Wukong's enabled.
Wukong is enabled.
He's been disabled in professional play because he was new, but he has been picked up.
Here he is. He's here to shine.
Sure. And why are you picking the Gragas support and no Yasuo on your team? Does Hype just play Gragas support just straight up?
I guess I've never seen him before.
I'm very confused.
I have no information on this hype guy. So apparently he plays Gragas support and he plays for QTV. I can tell you his bot lane partner is Jisoo. That's about the extent of my knowledge. I mean, I guess I can say I assume he plays Thresh.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, Thresh was
everyone plays
banned,
Thresh.
so I'm very confused.
Yeah, I don't.
I thought the Gragas
fully understand
support
this.
and the Yasuo mid lane, like, that's weird, but okay. But they just go the LeBlanc into the Wukong. I mean,
So LeBlanc will be into the Jace. I imagine they'll swap the lanes again.
yeah.
So Jace mid, Wukong top. That seems more reasonable to me.
I don't know, it's Froggy.
I mean, it is Froggy,
Wukong's
but
a jungler. Can be a jungler.
Wukong's a laner.
He's a top laner.
Wukong's a very fine laner right now.
Why would you pick the Gragas over Tarek?
Why would you pick Lee Sin when you have Gragas?
That's a very good question. That's a great question.
I assume it has to be in response to. No, they picked.
Please
it
finish that sentence. I'd
they
love to
first-
hear it.
They first picked it in the second round. They first picked the Lee Sin in the second round, so they didn't. It's not like it was a response to the Echo. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm so confused. Why do we try and do analysis for VCS promos?
I imagine they saw the MF. They were like, "We grab a Gragas, we stop this." Gragas brought. I mean, and then they were like, "We don't actually want to play Gragas jungle."
Maybe
But we've got this
Seal's just
Gragas.
bad at Gragas.
I mean, that's possible. They did play the Gragas Yasuo jungle mid combo in the promotion qualifiers, but I mean, they lost that game, but they played it.
That means he knows how to play. Gragas is a great jungler.
It is. I don't get it. This is just.
Let's
just
talk.
Vietnam,
Let's
man.
talk about a comp we can understand. Because FTV's comp makes a lot of sense. I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's fine. The Wukong,
It's
I'm
fine.
curious how Wukong's going to perform on the professional stage. He's strong
we
in solo
have
queue
seen
because he's
we
super
have
cheesy.
seen Wukong.
He's in the
new
LPL.
Wukong in the
He's
LPL.
in the LPL.
Um,
That was a while ago. That's when he was
That's pretty
giga busted.
yeah, it was.
That was
Same thing as in PCS. It was when
Yeah.
he was.
I think it was pretty much the only. That was after his hotfix, but he was still busted.
He was still pretty strong. So I imagine it'll be if it goes top like I expect, it'll do fine. I think it'll probably bully around the Aatrox a little bit. And then as it scales, it's less about the damage. It's more about that insane double ult you can pull off.
I can't believe they've.
Whereas, and just the wombo combo potential, you knock someone up with put them in the bounce house with the Wukong ults, with the Nautilus ults. You have Jace, and then you just layer the bullet time down on top of them.
And
I want a parallel convergence as well.
That's the other one.
Boom! Someone's dead.
Like parallel convergence very rarely actually lands a stun because it's so slow. But with the amount of CC on this FTV comp, yeah, he's hitting some 4-man parallel convergences.
Yeah, as a follow-up CC, it's so good. I could have just picked any other support. You had Gragas. You didn't need Lee Sin.
I don't really
You
get
need
it.
Lee Sin.
And the thing is what does Lee Sin do in this comp? Lee Sin, okay, fine, he's not a bad champion, mate. But I don't think he does anything for this comp.
Lee Sin does what Lee Sin does. he just sort of helps control the early game. He gets a few ganks off, and then he finds picks from really weird angles that you don't expect. Which against a relatively quite an immobile team comp, that's actually a very important factor. But you can do much the same with a Gragas, just E over a wall to get to a weird position and then hit them with a barrel. And Braum was banned by FTV, so it's not like they can block the cast.
That Yumi ban as well. I think QG they entered this draft.
QG checked out. QG absolutely checked out in the second phase. I don't know what they were thinking.
Ooh, and here is our first VCS pause.
Here's the pause. I believe this is
Kano DC.
Seal saying, "Why am I playing Lee Sin when there's a Gragas on my team?"
WTF, two junglers.
Understand this.
We do have our first VCS pause. It did look like a Kano just DC. It probably had a client bug or something.
Yes.
Could be anything. No big deal. I'm sure they'll get that fixed up very, very quickly. But yeah, I think QG is checked out mentally of this series. After the second game where they could have won, they were in a position to bring this to 1-1, and then they just completely boomed.
And we're back.
We are back.
And I think you're pretty much on the money, because that back end on draft was just, it was shocking. It was
shocking.
Like, I would understand an attempt to do something like that for a much more, if, you picked the LeBlanc where they picked the Lee Sin, and then tried for something a lot more dangerous as a last pick, or a lot more spicy as a last pick. Like maybe if a Kindred had come out, I'd understand.
Please.
I'd understand.
Give me Kindred. It's my Discord name.
If we see like something, if we saw something like nice and spicy, like a Kindred, like
I would have liked a Karthus.
Yeah, like a Karthus, just something that is an oddball champion that you would save for a last pick. I would understand that. Swapping the Gragas for that, but just for a bog standard Lee Sin,
it doesn't make
sense. There's no reason to waste that draft resource and get a support Gragas unless Hype is just a Gragas one-trick support.
If Hype is a Gragas one-trick support, then we've got to be talking to the QG management and saying, why did you pick up a Gragas one-trick as your support? Because bit questionable, as we do have a fight up in the top side. Froggy's gotten the bad end of the trade as the crab comes out from Seal with the assist, and Rika, he's really regretting rotating up to help his top lane as he's about to get kicked to death. Whoa, this is a late teleport. Oh, it's actually just Froggy teleporting.
This is Froggy coming back to lane.
So, fair enough, it was right on time. That's bad. Yeah. For FTV, QG off to a good start.
Yeah, strong start from QG. Seal's like, no, Lee Sin's a good champion. Of course, he could have done very similar things on Gragas.
I think he could have done much the same on the inanimate carbon rod. Simpsons references don't stop today.
I have opened a dangerous can of worms.
That was a very easy counter game.
But anyway, the joke I was going to say is, if Hype is a Gragas one-trick support, he's probably in cahoots with OPG's management, who has picked up a Pyke one-trick top as their top laner.
Wait, he's their top laner? I thought Simon was a support player.
I heard Simon was a top laner.
Oh no. I mean, I love Pyke top. Bring him back. I think Pyke solo lane's fun.
I think it's fun. I just think it's garbage.
Oh, it's very bad.
So yeah, we're left sort of. Again, we're still questioning this pick. But
I just don't know what it does.
It does everything Gragas Jungle does, but worse. Is generally
And
my
only in
experience. I mean, you back eventually and buy Mobies,
Yeah,
and
true.
then run around the map and impact the other lanes. But in my experience of having played it and played around it,
Spotted.
you basically don't. Yeah, you generally either pair it up with a Yasuo or you just are a worse Gragas jungle.
Yeah,
you don't do as much damage. You don't tank as much. You just sort of suffer.
Yeah, pretty much. One positive here for QG, other than their 2 kills, is Chip is winning the health war against this Wukong. And Kuroko is coming up to make sure this wave crashes into the tower, which has been traded for the Ocean Drake. So FTV definitely on the back foot against this oddball draft.
And I mean, you say they're on the back foot against the oddball draft, but if we ignore the bot lane, which
it's not because
for the most
of
part the game
draft.
has, it's not fun. It's just standard. It's a standard draft. At least Sin is not a weird pick at all in a normal situation. It's just where it was picked in the draft and why that makes it weird. So what is winning is standard. What is going even is the oddball. And generally, as you know, as usually the case, oddball needs to win really hard, or otherwise, why are you not?
Chip has popped ult, as has Froggy. He's spinning, he's winning, doing a lot of damage onto Chip. He goes down. Froggy should be going down in trade, but no, this is a second kill. That's a shutdown. Genza now very, very low, but Gragas has arrived. Rika charging forward, but gets bopped back by the belly. But now FTV has equalized, taking a very slight gold lead for themselves, and uh-oh, it's happening again!
And Genza just threw that play away. He basically did not wait for that ult to finish when he dashed in with his second distortion, and he was just denied by the second cast of the ultimate from Froggy.
Yep.
We'll watch it again, but see, Chip starts off engaging onto Kuroko. Froggy holds him off with the ult, and then
that's
Genza
a
doesn't get to
huge
do any
mistake
damage.
from Genza.
And then Kuroko is able to come back in, clean up the kills. And if Hype hadn't made this roam, Genza would have died as well, and that would have just been 3 quick kills over to FTV.
Yeah, so and if Genza had waited that out, I think they win the trade.
Absolutely,
he kills Froggy.
Froggy just dies, and at worst for them, it becomes a 1-for-1 because Kuroko doesn't go back in. Rika just stays mid, and it's a 1-for-1 at worst. Both top lane is dead. Genza gets a kill. You're good. You're happy with that. But that's 2 free kills over, and now
to the Wukong as well.
And both to Froggy. So Froggy now has a chance to actually come back into this lane. Unfortunately, the lane is in a really bad position for him right now. It's pushing out, so he will be able to catch it.
Yeah, but he's about to have his ult, and with his ult, I think he kills Chip if he gets all of his damage down. This is a 2-1 Wukong that has an Exes already.
Yeah, but I mean, it delays a lot of the it stops a lot of the healing, but it does mean his damage isn't quite
Wukong's
as strong.
He's got some pretty nutty base damage.
He does. So I mean, it's still possible. I think it's probably not enough at this stage. I think
at the very least he heavily wins trade.
He definitely, if he uses the ult, he just wins the trade, forces Chip out. I don't think it's enough to kill him.
Ooh, Rika, he's going to be thinking about kills as he's been tagged up by the Lee Sin. Goes for the E back, but Chip had come in to make sure there was no escape, and that's a free kill there in the mid lane. The bot lane will fight now. Bullet time being used onto Mr. Hype as he is very, very low. Jisoo, though, is even lower as he's gone down. 1-for-1 across the map, but it's a better one for FTV as they will get a push out of it. Though not enough minions to really stick around.
And judging from the spells, it looks like QG's bot lane initiated that because the Gragas barrel was down well before the bullet time came out, and it looks like they just sort of re-engaged with Kuroko.
That feels like a really basic mistake if you're playing Gragas support, which is already a mistake. Like, you're against an MF. Just don't barrel until she bullet times. It's so much of her damage.
Unless you're easily catching and pulling in the MF herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely need to save it. It did not work.
Yeah, we'll have to get a replay on how that fight started, because we were obviously looking at the mid lane. But this is a rough situation here for QG. They once again got off to a fantastic start, but have completely lost control of the game. It just doesn't look like they know what to do in the mid lane. In the mid game, sorry.
No, they really don't. A lot of it does seem to be them trying to force things. They are holding relatively good dragon control. So currently they're picking up the second one. So we'll see what the next dragon is.
You have to guess?
Mountain.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see if you will continue your record as the anti-Yul way. The anti-Yul way is real!
But in this trade, I think it doesn't matter because you're trading the gold. You're trading the
they got a whole tower out of that,
or the dragon. So, and if with the bullet time coming out here now, they're definitely going to get that second push.
Yeah, that's very clever from FTV.
Get that second turret.
I think they absolutely will. There's no way Chip can stop them. Rift Herald does so much damage to inner towers.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a disaster. They got two and a bit tower plates.
Yeah, 2 towers worth, and that completely nullifies what was essentially a trade.
There's an engage in the bot lane. Froggy has to flash away. Aphelios does a lot of damage and will get the shutdown. Now Aquino is in the front. Won't go forward to try and get a trade kill. That is a free kill.
So, in the end, what essentially happened was they decided to trade a kill for a tower plate. So, have you just let the tower plate down, that would have been half the kill. Oh, apparently Froggy just killed Seal here. So,
yeah, okay.
That explains why the ult was down on the Jisoo play.
That makes sense.
But
it was a 1-for-1.
Overall, it was a weird 1-for-1. But so it's just superior again. More better map rotations from FTV. Froggy kind of entered there, he did, but But overall, better map rotations. FTV has taken back to the bot side because they don't need to be topside anymore. There's no towers there. There's no Baron for another 3 minutes, so they're just gonna set up around bot side. Maybe push in, try to look for a siege of sorts. Their siege comp is fine. There's not a ton of poke. I mean, you get a bit from the Timewinder
and the
Jace, but it's not a lot. And you're only getting accelerated shot blast every so often, sort of thing. So
yeah, true.
It's not the most impactful regular poke in a siege type situation where you will have tankier members who can absorb a lot more. In a lane situation, your regular shock blasts are good poke, but they don't do so much in a siege setting.
That's true.
However, with the double ranged, basically is a double range, you only need to be near the turret for a little bit at a time to get a good amount of damage down. So the siege is okay. It's not the best siege in the world, but it should be
fine. I definitely don't think it'll. I don't think it'll be why they can't get over the line.
No, it absolutely won't. But
as
it's going to be good. Oh boy,
pushing in. Aquino takes a fair bit of damage, but the Gravitum Q had already been used, so he knows he's safe. It is just damage.
I think Hype they probably could have found the kill if Hype had committed the ult.
Aquino had flash, so he could have flashed the Gragas ult.
Not when he was rooted.
That's true.
So And even if he does, you force the flash.
Yeah, it's a good
Right?
trade.
So
yes. They must have read that Kuriko was closer than he actually was, because otherwise why would Akino be so aggressive?
I guess so, but the warding in the river and where Kuriko was, I'm pretty sure he should have been on vision. Of course,
Probably.
I don't know for certain because the mini map is tiny.
True. I don't necessarily hate not going for it though. Realistically,
Yeah.
they just lost a little bit of tower health. It's not a big deal. You don't need to do it.
Playing safe is very rarely the wrong move, but it's just not the most correct move.
Oh, and Seal has made a non-correct move and been caught out at his wolf camp, and Kuriko went forward to try and confirm the kill, but did have to chrono break out. Seal lives, but the mid lane tower, will it live? Yes, maybe. Yes.
No.
No, it won't. Akino finally does get knocked back. There's the play we were talking about, as that Nautilus will go down. Genza getting the kill. A tower for a kill is not a good trade for QG, but I think they'll take it in that situation.
And you know what's worse? 2 towers for a kill, and that's
what
happened with that bot lane.
Yep, as Kuriko charges forward onto Chip, but he'll swoosh his way over the wall. QG did open up mid lane as well. We do have a bit of a back and forth here. Bit of a messy passage of play as QG now have to find a way out. 3 members of FTV lurking. Very outnumbered as the dragon is available. QG wants this to threaten Mountain Soul. Not the most impactful soul, but definitely helpful regardless. There's the catch. Chip taking so much damage, flashes over the wall. He now can't participate in the fight, but the Cyclone is down. Does QG want to fight with that ultimate on cooldown? No.
Probably not, because, I mean, you're fighting 4v5. You don't have your ults on either of your bot lane members. You probably, even if you get it, you don't win the fight, and then that allows them to push in your mid lane.
Or get Baron. Oh, no,
Baron's not up.
Yep. 3 minutes away.
That's why I said mid lane. But so they give it up. It's 1 dragon at this stage, so QG doesn't need to contest that at all.
Yeah. All that they really lose is 4 minutes.
Yeah. And they also lose a turret, which is being traded for the Rift Herald, but in the end,
not good. It's second Rift Herald. Not great.
It's second Rift Herald. It will unless they manage to win a fight and get it into the mid lane, it's going to be essentially an out of arena trade, which is, I mean, it's gold, but it's not the same level of sort of map. It's nowhere near the same level of map control. Because right now, with only the mid inner remaining, if FTV wants it, they can take basic control over basically any quadrant of the jungle they desire.
Yeah.
Whereas, and especially the 2 side ones have a lot more protection with the 2 side lanes, both side lanes having full turrets for them. Whereas FTV doesn't have this protection to run to, so if they're caught in the jungle, they get caught in the jungle. With
big time.
With no recourse for running away.
Yeah. QG basically just doesn't have control. They don't have safe areas, and we see Kuriko very easily stealing away a blue buff, denying even more resources from QG. It's going to take a miracle to get QG back in this one, as they are very, very far behind, both in gold and in tempo. They do have an Aphelios, though. The Miracle Man himself, as they go for the engage. A lot of damage being done to Rika. He gets exhausted, which is a bit of a waste. Bullet Time doing a lot of damage. Rika does go down, but Seal is traded, and Hype went down as well. So it's not actually a 1 trade for QG at all. They're probably going to lose this tower. Well, they went for it, but Exhaust actually doesn't deal damage. I don't know if you know that. I don't know why they exhausted Rika.
I imagine the exhaust was to stop him from running away, but he had flash, so it didn't actually do anything. But again, Hype's Gragas has not been good.
No.
he used his barrel on the MF, sure, but it was very late.
Oh yeah,
And
that was basically a full.
Police had base was able to
Froggy
just
in a 1v2 wins this trade, and if he's going to get the double kill.
Yeah.
Those are going to hit. No, just enough healing for Genza. Oh, Froggy wants it though. Does he have his invisibility? No. Flashed away from hype to try and get onto Genza, but couldn't quite do it. But
the slow from the Gragas barrel was enough to stop him.
Yeah, but he started that out in a 1v2. And he got the 1-for-1. That's not bad.
Yeah, being what was essentially a 1v4 and getting a 1, getting 1-for-1, he did well.
He destroyed Chip.
Chip disappeared, and Genza almost did too. The chain
Pot,
just
if it wasn't for
pots. The pot comes in as well.
Drink
to prevent the minion damage.
Drink your sippies. This is why we have them. Drink your juice.
Dies to the Ludens, bro.
That's depressing. FTV on Baron using the bullet time, but it is secured. It's okay. Seal goes down. He went for the steal, but Seal can't steal.
Yeah, Seal is not Sorn. He's not Eugen.
Not DNK.
He's not DNK.
Prince of Thieves.
That's the name I was looking for.
I know you were digging. You were just going through all the top junglers like, DNK was the big
I was like,
piece.
Secret came third, right? No, they didn't. That was Sorn. Wait, no.
This quarantine makes it feel like it's been 10 years since the playoffs.
It really has.
It's an interesting time.
But yeah, of course, going back to before that fight, we were saying QG needs a miracle, and QG is absolutely not without the tools to make that miracle happen. You can get if you can land a good kick or a barrel, and a LeBlanc can easily delete someone. Aphelios can always just do his thing.
Yeah.
If he has an Infernum up, if he has
Froggy,
if he has the red-white guns.
Seal has been depth charged, taking a fair bit. Hype has been caught. This Gragas still not paying dividends. A huge cyclone out of the Frog. And this is going to be an inhib. This is going to be FTV pushing more in. It could very much be game. Yeah, I think it will be. They're going to go for it. And QG can't contest. That is going to be game, set, and series. As QG just got run over.
And they showed signs of competitiveness. They showed that as individual players, they're not just nobodies. They can hang with FTV at the very least.
A lot of
as individuals.
A lot of these players were in the VCS. Like Jisoo,
yeah, exactly.
Was a decent ADC in the VCS. But I mean, the biggest hole, you need a support. They played 2 supports, and I was not impressed by either of them.
I don't want to discredit Hype too much. If in the next series we see more of him and he plays an actual support, we might see, actually he has potential to be really good.
Maybe.
But I don't think so, considering they were starting TQK over him. And to be fair, this was just TQK has looked good before. He just didn't look good this series. But it did not look good from QTV at all. They were not playing around the vision. They were not playing as a unit. Yeah. They weren't, and a lot of it is just cohesion and time together as a team, coaching issues. The players themselves are fine. Mm-hmm. It feels like
that's kind of the story for a lot of teams like this. They'll have decent players because they'll be solo queue stars. But they need to actually be a team. It's the big step up, right? From amateur play to professional play. But if we sort of put a bow on this one, we can have a look at the schedule going into the rest of today. We do have another best of 5 this afternoon. A couple hours. It's in 2 hours. Because that was such a short series.
That's if they do it. They might just say, 10
Well,
minutes, go.
on the Vietnamese stream at the moment, they have one of the most aggressive timers I've ever seen with 164 minutes.
No, you're right.
That was an aggressive timer. Yeah, so we'll be back in just under 3 hours for Overpower Esports, which is Optimus's new team. They bought out VGA's slot, but they are, I think, fielding their own lineup.
Much of it is similar, but they have a few new players.
Yeah, so it is Overpower Esports taking on Percent, who is also a very interesting team. That's actually going to be a really fun matchup. It's hard to call who wins that one because there's too many unknowns. But we'll definitely be talking about that one before it goes live. Now, we are going to turn the stream off because it's in 2.5 hours. I'd like to use my computer for the next 2.5 hours. But GG, congratulations to FTV for picking up that win. That was very dominant, looking pretty good, potentially to get back into the VCS. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm really surprised by the amount of support we've got for VCS promotions, but I'm glad to see it. My name's been Everyday. With me has been Vinny. Thank you again for joining us. And we'll be back in about 2 hours for Overpower Esports taking on Percent. See you then, guys.
Yeah.